Hello, I'm going to do the Leo energy 2023 energy reading, and this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take the parts that do. If it does not, leave the parts that do not, as those may be meant for someone else. So we're going to look at what Leo may possibly be struggling with this year. We have milk and honey, and we have a leg up. All right. What does Leo need to look at this year? Round and round. Future energies for Leo, energies throughout the year. Future energies for Leo, 2023. Loyal heart. Loyal heart. Overall energies for the year for Leo, we have regeneration. Oh, I love that. Regeneration. A lot of learning for you this year. I feel like it's getting back to those things that commitment, those things that you like to do, having a deeper meaning, more fulfillment this year. What you may possibly be struggling with is milk and honey and a leg up. Milk and honey is trusting that your needs will be met. It's that sweet time of life, like your true purpose, right? That fulfillment, that nourishment, that sweetness of life. You're having trouble with that. You're having trouble finding that. Leg up means that lift, and that you're like the little bear there, right? The little polar bear. He's like, I need a leg up. I need someone to help me. I feel like you're having trouble with receiving help from others, or that looking for help from others, or relying on others. I feel like you're kind of feeling like you can do it all yourself, but then you're so busy trying to do that it's almost like you're forgetting yourself. That you're having trouble with asking for help from others. That I feel like, especially with Leo, I feel that like Leo feels that they're in control of everything, they got everything under, but Leo is human too. And I almost forget that, maybe sometimes do you forget that you're human, and that you need help, and that you can rely on that shoulder from someone else. And by not doing that, you put so much weight on your own shoulders that you're bogging yourself down. All right, so let's get some clarification for Leo. What Leo is struggling with. Letting go, letting go, letting go. You're struggling with letting go. You're struggling with your emotions, that you don't want to show weakness, that you don't, because maybe you feel that if you ask someone else for help, that shows a weakness. I feel like sometimes it's good, even though sometimes if we think that we know the direction, and we think we know that the answer, but sometimes it's good to listen to other people's point of view or other perspectives. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean that their way is the right way, but it could also be, I feel like it's being more open-minded to listening to others and other opportunities. And maybe sometimes we feel that the path that we're on is the only path that we need to be on, but sometimes that path becomes harder. But there's other opportunities that open up, and we disregard those because, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to be right. I don't see how that's going to happen. But when we're open to different opportunities, and we don't shut something down, and we look into it and we learn about it, that we may be surprised by what we find. All right, so we have round and round. Look at that. We have King of Wands. I feel like that represents you. Kind of looking back right? Learning from your past and saying, okay, if I'm struggling with those rewards, with my needs being met, with that good fortune and that direction and that my true north, right? If I'm struggling with that and it hasn't worked in the past, I need to look at what are those things that I did in the past that didn't work, but what are those things that did work? Five of Cups. What is it that you're holding on to that you're not seeing, right? I feel there's an opportunity here behind you that you're not seeing because you're kind of just focusing on this. Enlightenment. Communication. I feel like sometimes, I feel that you need to communicate your true feelings. I feel like you need to communicate maybe your weaknesses. That if you keep going around and around and around and around in something, like a conversation with someone, that maybe it's time to take a step back and really listen to what that person's saying, because sometimes we talk to people but we don't really listen. Or maybe you feel like you're trying to talk to somebody but they're not listening. I feel like somebody's not listening. But I feel like you can learn a lot from looking at your past. We have to know our strengths and we have to know our weaknesses. And then we have to work on our weaknesses. Look at that, loyal heart, I love it. Loyal heart, that trust, that devotion, that guidance, the Fool, new beginnings, taking a leap of faith. Seeing things differently. I feel like this is a big life lesson for yourself, to see things differently, but not the way that you're doing things is bad. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like you're not getting the results that you want to get, that you're not seeing things happen the way that you want them to happen, or you thought that they were happening, or you're not having that fulfillment within yourself. You're not feeling that milk and honey, right? You're not feeling that, you're not getting that. You feel like it's lost. You feel like you're going round and round. You feel like things aren't happening. But if you want change, you have to be change. You have to look at those weaknesses. You have to look at your strengths. That sometimes the path that we were going is that has come to an end, and we have to change that path. And I feel like 2023 is the year that you change the path, that you see things different. You take a closer look at things. You're seeing things. You're seeing the details of things. You're seeing things in a different way because you're open to see them, right? That maybe before you weren't open to see those, right? Those different way of doing things and those different things. Nine of Swords, worry and stress, anxiety. I feel like this is what's building up within you here. And I feel like that becomes heavier and heavier and heavier until you kind of look at those things that you need to change, or to give some of that burden to someone else, and to lean on the shoulder of others, and to learn that that's okay. It doesn't show a sign of weakness. It shows a sign of strength, because you have to be strong to show your weaknesses, right? Sometimes we don't realize that. But I also feel this Nine of Swords is releasing that. Regeneration. Regeneration means rebuilding and becoming stronger and bigger and better than ever before. All right, so I'm going to use my energy oracle cards. We have Goddess of the Moon, and that is being in touch with your inner self, with your inner guidance, listening to your inner voice. Maybe that's something that you need to be more in tune with. Maybe that's something that you've been ignoring. Sometimes we have those things and we're like, we hear the inner voice and it says, do that, do that, do that, or don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Like something doesn't feel right. There's a red flag, don't do it. But then we do it anyways, and then we look back and we say, you know what, I kind of had a feeling that there was something inside that was giving me a red flag, but I ignored that. I feel like this year you become more in touch with your inner voice and your inner guidance. We have the Sun, look at that. Positive energy, happiness. We have a little baby here with a rebirth, a regeneration of yourself, right? And then we have the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel, and that represents your crown chakra. And that, again, represents your intuition. Your intuition is going to become very strong, but it's because you're open to that, right? That you're listening to that over here. You're listening to that inner voice this year. And I feel like that really helps to guide you towards this milk and honey. And it gives you that direction and that guidance that you were looking for, that you feel that you're struggling with this year. But being open to hear the messages and to hear different sides and to delegate when things become too heavy for us and to speak our truths and to communicate. Communication is extremely important. Back and forth communication. To speak your truth, but also to hear other people's truth. To really listen to people, for it to be deeper relationships for you. And I feel it brings you this incredible sense of fulfillment this year. And I'm excited for you. This is definitely exciting. It's a lot of inner growth for yourself this year. We have bliss, cherishing the day, enjoying each day, cherishing each day, and cherishing the ups and downs, the stresses, the challenges, the rewards, the abundance, the sunny days, the cloudy days. I feel life becomes richer for you this year. And your heart expands with happiness and contentment. But that's something that you have to work on, that you have to realize, that you have to see, that you have to acknowledge, and you have to work on. All right, I hope you have an amazing day. It looks like you're going to have an amazing year, 2023. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.